All right, everyone, welcome back into another NBA Summer League video. Going to be breaking down all the best bets here for today's slate of games. Let's go ahead and get into it. So I'll be breaking down this video like I did with yesterday's video. Yesterday's picks were very good with only 2 missing on the day. Well, technically like 1.5. Alex Sarr was someone that I liked for over his points, rebounds, and assists at 23.5. But then later on in the day, we were able to get that prop at 22.5 on PrizePicks. So that ended up being a pretty solid edge there. And so really, Rob Dillingham was the only one that was a letdown yesterday. And in retrospect, I probably should have hedged a little bit. I kind of mentioned this in the video that I like Shannon as well. But at the same time, it would have been less likely that they both got their over points. And so that was something that I mentioned. And so that would have been another good thought to go take it a step further. But oh well, picks wise, good day. We'll take that every single day of the week. So jumping into today's slate of games, going to be starting out with the early games here. Bucks versus Bulls. I don't want to spend too much time on this just because it is earlier on in the day, but we are getting some props for it right now. And I want to talk about MLB PrizePicks. He is in his 3rd year. And he's playing in this game, which is typically never a good sign. Last Summer League, he did play pretty well, okay? Up until he didn't, I guess, in a weird way of phrasing it. First 2 games, though, 31 and 32 minutes, shot the basketball a bunch and scored a bunch. And he kind of scored at ease as well in those games. He is someone who the Bucks do need to step up, and that's why he's playing in this game. Now, when we look at his stats for this game, he is minus 230 to get over 15 points. And so this is basically telling me that his line of 17.5 is mostly correct. And so we probably don't need to go in on that. Now, a player that we're not getting any prop bets or any lines for right now from DraftKings is Andre Jackson Jr. And I think he's a good option to get over his points, rebounds, and assists, or his points. If you guys want to do 7 there, we can see we're getting a slight edge there compared to Underdog and PrizePicks. He is someone that is a good talent for the Bucks. He is someone that can rebound the basketball. And it's kind of my way of saying if he is going to get to 8 points, if he is going to get that over, I think there's a better chance that he actually gets the over points, rebounds, and assists. And he is someone last year that was getting a decent amount of minutes for the Bucks. And so you take that, already NBA somewhat play style and put that against a bunch of possible NBA players. That's huge. And so we see last Summer League, some good games, some bad games. And then he averaged about 13 points, rebounds, and assists. You're going to assume that he's going to get a little bit more run, though, probably closer to 30 minutes in these games, mostly because the Bucks don't have that deep of a bench or players that they need to get exposure to. Now, I will say Ty Washington, the dude, is a good bucket maker. I do expect him to have a good game, but I expected him to get a lot of run last year, and that did not happen. And so probably too much of a gamble. And same thing with Ryan Rollins. Those are 2 players that could eat into the production of, let's say, Beauchamp and Andre Jackson, but we don't know yet. And it's a good thing that we're not getting props for them because we don't have to worry about that. Looking at it from Chicago's side, really nothing there in terms of PrizePicks and Underdog. But I did want to point out, Sanogo here, where we look at his points, rebounds, and assist line. Guys, this is 21.5 on DraftKings Pick 6. So I did want to call that up because that's going to be a pretty solid edge. So if you guys are someone that plays there, obviously you'd want to bet the over on DraftKings Pick 6 at 21.5. That was already something I was planning on doing, was betting his over, but I'm going to shift my shares of that to him on DraftKings Pick 6 because their lines do not change. And it's going to be 21.5 for the whole day up until lineup lock. So that's a very big edge that we are getting there as well. That concludes it for Milwaukee versus Chicago. Let's go ahead and jump into the next game. We are getting maybe a little bit better odds here. I'm a little bit shocked that Brandon Miller is projected to play in this game. He is listed as out. We always have to see these confirmed starting lineups. We don't know really what to expect. The data and the information that we get on these is extremely limited. And so if he were to sit, which I think he's going to play, like if he's there, he probably will play, but would be strange at the same time. But we do have Nick Smith. Nick Smith is someone that has had kind of a spotty Summer League thus far. One really good game, one really bad game. We're going to see that we are also getting some decent prop line differences for him. And he's someone that we look at his lines on PrizePicks and Underdog. I would say someone interesting, and we could really bet his under, I would say, on really both sites here. Looking at it, his points for the day is set at 15, or the line for him to get 15 points is set at -115. So that means he's probably not going to get over 16.5 points. And then again, if we look at him as someone on DraftKings pick 6, already not likely for him to really get over 15 points, or very like it's like a 50-50, then we could bet him to get under 17.5 points. So 2 decent edges there on DraftKings pick 6. That's a nice thing about today, is that we can kind of pick our edges. And that's actually going to lead me into the next one. We got Washington here as well at 14 points on pick 6, and we're going to see that we're not getting any lines on him on PrizePicks just yet. He is someone that can score, and so the fact that we're getting his line at 16.5 on Underdog, that gets me pretty encouraged that we can be betting that over on pick 6. Now, I do want to call out that if you guys are running out this stuff on DraftKings Pick 6, it is very much crucial that you make sure that these players are active, okay? You're not going to get a reboot or the bet slip reduced down to a, like, let's say if we ran this out and let's say Washington were to sit, it's not like this would be bumped down to a 2-slip bet. It would still be a 3-slip bet and you wouldn't win. So there is very much a risk associated with pick 6 when doing that, especially in Summer League, because if someone's a random DNP and we didn't get information on that, kind of just out of luck. Whereas obviously on pick 6, that's a big advantage that we have, is that if a player's randomly a DNP, it doesn't really matter. And so we're typically golden with that. And so what we're talking about that game, and Brandon Miller in general, I do think the lines that we're getting on him are kind of strange. Like if he is going to play, how many minutes will he play? Maybe 25. If he does play 25, you would expect him to really be balling out to get over 21.5 points. But if we're betting that, might as well just bet the points, rebounds, and assists. So it's definitely some interesting lines that we're getting with him. And let's jump into another player in this game, Tyler Kolek. His points is set at 10 on both sides, or 10.5. His over is about -150 for him to get over that points line there, okay? And he is someone, again, I really don't mind for his points, rebounds, and assists. He is someone that was a great facilitator in college basketball, and I was actually really excited to do his over assist, to the point where this line on Underdog at 19.5, I think it'd be better running the over there. But at the same time, again, guys, looking at the Summer League on pick 6, might as well just run his over points, rebounds, and assists there. And so we should be staying pretty with that. Now, you could just do his points as well at 9.5 for the over there. Again, a pretty strong bet across the board. And now we jump into this last game on the early slate, and then we'll jump into some more games. We got Boston versus Miami. I would say somewhat appealing with some of the lines that we are getting in here. Jaquez is projected to play in this game. And so I do think that that could actually make Miami as a whole more difficult, because if he plays, that does put a wrench into kind of my plans for today, and he is expected to play. So like someone like Larson, who has been playing well, what do we expect from him? Now, Ware is at least a big for Miami. He is their only big, and he is someone I don't mind for this over. In his last Summer League game, some teams did play some Summer League games, he had 11 rebounds in that game. And if you look at his over and under rebounds, it's set at 10, and he's like -115 to get 10. So, if we were to adjust that for 9 rebounds, it'd be closer to like -170. So that's one of the better bets that we have on the board today. I should point out that we're really not getting as big of edges today as we did yesterday, which is why I'm referring to pick 6 a little bit more today. Now, I do find the lines that we were getting on Ware to be interesting as well. His likely to get over 15 points is set at -220. So I would say basically the line should be set at like 17 there. But if you give him just his points and rebounds there, he's basically right at the line of points, rebounds, and assists. Maybe can tack on 2 assists for us and assists for us. And we're sitting pretty with the over PRA. That's probably a little bit too thin for me. I do think going with the rebounds is the best line that we have here. And then from there, just some weird lines that we have. Baylor is expected to get around 12.5 points. That's kind of his expected line. But again, probably not one that I feel the need to go in on. And then Larson as well. I mentioned if Jaquez is going to be playing like he's expected to play, he is not likely to get over 10 points or to 10 points, which is what obviously he would need to do that to get over 9.5 points. So I don't mind the under here again, but this is one where it does feel like we're slightly forcing it just out of necessity. So I don't really want to do that. Now let's go ahead and jump on into these afternoon games as well, or evening games, if you will. I do want to point out, very strange that we're getting lines for Tosan here as well. He is someone that I really do like as a player. The issue is he is not currently listed on their roster for Summer League. Now, this was taken July 9th, so it is 4 days later. Maybe he is on the team. I don't really know. It's definitely strange. He is someone that prior to like doing the research for today's slate, when I saw we were getting lines from him, I'm like, yeah, let's bet on him, right? Like I thought I'd be going with the over there. And so I haven't received any information just yet. If we get confirmation that he is playing and starting, that's a massive discount line. But as it sits right now, it seems like he's not even on the roster. So obviously we don't want to mess around with that at all. Now, one of the bets that I like a decent amount today is actually going to be Ricky Council for over his points or points, rebounds, and assists. He is at plus 105 to get over 20 points. And so the fact that we're getting him at 18 points, I don't mind that. And then I do want to point out that his line on DraftKings Pick 6 is set at 17.5. So again, it just makes more sense to attack it there than on PrizePicks or Underdog today, because it just like make the best bets possible, right? And so that is one of the best bets that we have possible. So might as well run that out there instead of forcing it a little bit so on PrizePicks or Underdog. Not a bad bet on either site though. And then just looking at a couple of his teammates, I'm a little bit surprised at Ron Holland's points, rebounds, and assists, but it's just probably not one I want to touch in general. And then looking at Sasser as well, I don't mind his over points, rebounds, and assists, but again, do we really need to be betting that? Probably not. And if we look at Underdog, we're not able to gauge whether that's a good line or not in general. So like, why make that bet if we don't need to? So let's go ahead and jump on into the next game, which is going to be Toronto versus OKC. OKC, I don't really know exactly what to do with them in general. And Toronto, I'm probably more inclined to go in on. You got Sheed there, who was a good college basketball player, kind of like his productivity. How much is Grady Dick going to actually play this summer league? How much is Freeman Liberty actually going to play this season or preseason and summer league? Sorry. Those are both questions that we need answered. And if they're in the starting lineup, I'm going to like the lines that we're getting on them. The issue is that that's part of the reason why we're not getting lines on those guys just yet, because if we do get their lines, we could be in for some kind of massive edges. Oh, as I just refreshed the data because I saw that we were getting some lines for them. Andre Jackson. Okay. Pretty interesting there. Did they not move his points, rebounds, and assists? Why would his points go up and not his points, rebounds, and assists? Okay. So that even tells us even more so kind of this bet that I have queued up on Underdog, probably still a very good edge. They should be raising up his points, rebounds, and assists as well. That's strange to me. So PrizePicks wise, we probably are going to bet his over 7 points now. That kind of does it for that OKC Toronto game. I know that was kind of a weird jump off there, but let's go ahead and jump on into this next game. Spurs versus Portland. We got Chris Murray, who did play a lot of minutes in the NBA season. I actually do like his lines that we were getting there. I do expect him to be able to get around 15 points in this game. And so I'm a little bit surprised by that line that we're getting there. That's probably my favorite one, but no big edges in comparison there. And really just in general for this game, we're not really getting any big prop line differences. If you guys like the over points for Castle, you could run that out. But right now we're not getting any DraftKings data coming in from those prop bets. I will say Isaiah Collier, jumping into the next game here, he looked good thus far this preseason. I do like his over points, but Keontae George is still there. Taylor Hendricks is someone that's been playing well. Who's actually going to get the minutes for Utah tonight? They have been kind of a little all over the place with their minutes. Is Walker Kessler going to get run? Is Babcock going to get some run? Is the rookie going to get some run? They're just kind of deep, honestly. Kenny Lofton is someone that we know is kind of a stud when he gets minutes. And so it is kind of a guessing game. Like, I just don't know what to do with this. And so to me, even though Utah is probably a strong favorite to win the Summer League. Is that a bet that we can run out? Yeah, give me Utah plus 800 to win. I actually don't mind that. That's sneaky good. But their opponent, Dallas, they got some decent players there as well, mostly in their bigs. Like Prosper is someone I don't mind today. If he gets the minutes, which I would expect that he would, I don't really get his points, rebounds, and assist lines that we're getting. Last preseason, he played extremely well, consistently got these overs, and maybe that's just the thing. Maybe they're not expecting him to get that many minutes. But he is someone that did produce for Dallas during the regular season last year, so I'm a little bit surprised by those lines that we're getting. Going back to Utah, we still have Taylor Hendricks there as well. Is decent. The last game, I really don't think we have enough on just yet, guys. Again, that's the latest game on the slate, 10 p.m. Really no indication of who's going to get a lot of run there. Golden State-wise, sure, if JD does play or Pods does play, that's going to be pretty appealing. Santos is someone that played well for them last summer league, but do we need to run with that? I don't think we do. So let's go ahead and get into the bets of the day for today. All right, so for Underdog, this is going to be a simple one. I think still going to go Andre Jackson Jr. for over his points, rebounds, and assists of 17.5. I do think that's a good edge. Where we're going to do over 9 rebounds, and then Nick Smith going to bet his lower points. Again, the issue today is that the bigger edges that we were getting is actually on DraftKings Pick 6. And now getting to the prize picks bet of the day, I do think looking at Andre Jackson Jr. now for over 7 points is going to be a strong bet. I do still like where to get over his points, rebounds, and assists. You could also bet his over rebounds here as well if you guys wanted to do that, kind of trying to double dip with him in a slightly different way. But either way, I still think it's a good bet. Ricky Council, again, I'm going to be running over his points, rebounds, and assists. His over points is a better bet there on pick 6, however. And then Prosper, I do like his over points, rebounds, and assists, just hoping that he does indeed get those minutes that I'm expecting him to get. But that's going to be all for today's video, guys. Thank you for being here. Hopefully you guys have a good day today. Not as good of an edge today as it was yesterday, just fair warning. So I'm not going to be making as many bets today on this slate. But that's going to be all for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. Good luck. And as always, let's keep cashing.